All right, Fight News Australia with New Zealand's Luke Jumeau. Luke, how have you been? You've had a bit of time off recently. What happened with the hand?
I broke my hand in February last year in the UFC in Perth, and then had two surgeries on it. Went back too soon, hairline fractured it again, and then went back too soon again. So I've just really had to sit out and let the bone properly heal and before I go back to power punching, you know what I mean?
Has that been driving you mad?
Oh, bro, it's been sucks sitting on the bench, but it's also been inspiring, you know, watching the other Kiwi boys and everyone else's success. Bro, I broke my hand in Israel's debut, you know what I mean? And to come back now, he's got a bout fighting for the title, you know. It's so inspiring, you know. And Dan Hooker fighting number 6, you know what I mean? Like the boys, and always led the way, and the pathway's there, man. And look, I'm on the main card now. It's only great for my future.
Have you been going to city kickboxing and training with those boys very often? I know you do train in Hamilton predominantly.
Yeah. Just the last couple of weeks, went up for sparring, probably 3 or 4 sparring sessions, just to sort of tune out the last sort of bit. They got quite a lot of high level guys there, and mix it up with Israel and Dan, and you know, both of them are taller opponents, like my opponent's a bit taller, you know. So yeah, no, it's been good.
And how's the reception been just with the wider public in New Zealand finally getting behind the MMA in a big way? You know, 5 years ago it wasn't mainstream at all, and now everyone's supporting the boys because everyone's doing so well.
Bro, it's massive. It's so cool, you know, like the media coverage that everyone's getting, radio stations, papers, like it's just non-stop, you know what I mean? And all the reporters and the people covering it are educated in the sport, whereas, like you say, 5 years ago it was just talk of blood sport and the cage. Nobody could get the cage out of their head, let alone like the sport, you know what I mean? So like, bro, it's so mainstream now, and it's really, really cool, you know.
And you mentioned it before, but you're potentially going to be fighting in front of 50, 60,000 people. Have you thought about what that's going to feel like to be walking out in front of that many people, man?
Man, honestly, we came here the other day and did some media for ESPN, and they were saying it's about 1 kilometer from the changing room to the thing, you know what I mean? Like, that's how long our walkout's got to be. We've got to choose a couple of songs sort of thing, you know? But honestly, man, that hasn't crossed my mind yet. I'll just have to deal with it on the night. But I'm not really one to get affected by that sort of stuff. But a couple of weeks afterwards, I'm going to probably fizz out, you know?
And has life changed much for you since you've made the UFC? Do you get noticed on the streets a bit more back home and that kind of thing?
Yeah. I'm getting noticed heaps more on the streets, and that I really can't go anywhere without somebody asking for a photo. It's pretty cool, man, and I get so much support from home. Just being a humble Kiwi, you know what I mean? Like, people love it, and I'm just happy to bring that sort of pride back to our country, you know.
And you've got a tough fight this weekend against Diego Lima. Have you watched much of his fights? What do you make of his skill set?
Yeah, I've watched a couple of his fights, just his most recent ones. But I mean, everyone's talented in the UFC. I think I've got what it takes to put him away, you know. So we'll see on the night.
And the main event, you've got Israel Adesanya. Obviously, he's representing New Zealand, but on the other side of the cage, we've got a Māori and Robert Whittaker, 2 absolute warriors going at it. How do you think that fight's going to play out?
Man, honestly, I have no idea how the fight's going to play out, but all of my energy and spirit's going to go towards Israel, and you know, he's like a brother to me now, sparring. You know, when you share blood, sweat, and tears with somebody, they become like family. So all my energy's going to go to his spirit bomb, bro.
Awesome. Thanks very much, man.